I'm working on a 2005 Kia Optima EX and doing the timing belts, the other belts, the water pump. And this is like the fourth time I've had this thing apart because I didn't pay attention to the instructions properly, and I ended up with all back together, but I don't know that I have everything lined up as far as the timing on everything perfectly. And now you can't see it right now, but I didn't get the water pump gasket lined up like I thought I had it. So you dump water in the radiator and it comes out the water pump. So I'm taking it apart for like the fourth time. There's a very good video on working on this car. It's about 1 hour and 7 minutes long. He shows you how to take everything apart, and at the end of the video he shows you how to make sure you have everything timed properly, because there's like 5 or 6 gears in there that have to be lined up properly, or you'll have either the timing off or the engine out of balance and it'll vibrate. This one actually runs. It seems a little rougher than when I first got it. I only bought it to fix it up and sell it. It's the double overhead cam valve. One of the hardest things I've had to work on is this water pump pulley right there. There's 4 bolts in the front of it, and as you can see, you have about 1.5 inches maybe to work down there. Now the sockets I have, because I'm not a mechanic, I just like toying around with this stuff. I've got this little 1/4 inch drive. It works really good, it gets in there, but it's so short that you have to have an extension, and it's just almost impossible to hold it on the bolt and turn it at the same time. And now my car is making a weird noise. I don't know why it's making that noise. Because it shut off, or is it? Oh, maybe I didn't turn the key off all the way. Hang on a second. That's probably kind of a dumb thing to do, leave the key on. I was turning the motor over trying to get top dead center. These are a couple of things you gotta really watch for, is making sure you get your top dead center on these 2 marks. And then the camshaft gear at the bottom has to be top dead center. What I did was I just put a big screwdriver down in there. I turned the motor over till it came up all the way and started to go back down. I knew I was at top dead center. And then I lined these up. I got everything lined up and the car ran, I think the 2nd or 3rd time. But I don't have the things that balance properly. Anyway, this is a real pain in the butt, so I had to improvise. I took a small wrench and I attached it to this rod, and that way I can actually reach down in there. Where are we at? There we are. I can actually reach down in there and get the wrench on those bolts to loosen them. And once you loosen them, you can put your hands down in there like this, side by side, get your fingertips on the bolt and take it out. Now I've got another wrench. The first time I did this, I took another wrench and I duct taped it, and then I wire tied or plastic tied it just like I did this one. As you can see, it's got a piece of black duct tape, and then I took those little plastic ties and strapped it on there, because when I was torquing on it, it wanted to just bend the duct tape and tear it. So with the plastic ties on there, it's pretty strong. And that's how I do the final tightening of it and break them loose. But that right there, that water pump pulley, is the worst thing on the whole job. The first time, I bet it took me 1/2 hour to figure out how to get that thing off of there. If you watch that video, pay attention to it all the way to the end. He doesn't show you how to put everything back, but what I found was, take notes. Everything he says, write it down. Take off the water pump cover. Take off the power steering pump. 2 bolts or 4 bolts. That way, when you go to put it back together, you can start at the bottom of your list, work your way up, and you get things back in order. Because I put this together like the 2nd time, and I think I had the water pump pulley on, and I couldn't get the plastic cover on. So it's important to follow the itemized list, because otherwise you'll be undoing stuff and redoing it. Anyway, hopefully that helps somebody. I might add more later. I just don't have the ability, working by myself, to film this whole thing, or I would. It's really not that bad once you watch the video and pay attention, but I didn't. I kind of skipped the end of it, and then I found out later, after I watched it again and watched it all the way to the end, that you really have to pay attention to where all the pulleys and gears are lined up, so that everything's in balance and works like it's supposed to. So that's why I'm undoing it. Get my water pump gasket on properly. I bought a new one. Sad part, they're $3. I'm going to put a little sealant on there to hold it in place this time so it doesn't slip on me. And then my next project, when I get the engine running, is I'm going to take the CV axles out. I watched a couple videos on that, and it doesn't seem like it's too bad of a job, so I'm going to try that. Hey, y'all, have a good day.